Trending today, New Music Fridays. Changed my mind. This is my new single. This is my name, Ryan McCartan. And this is me. You can't tell because I cut off my face, but that's my body in the artwork.
See, the look on your face right now, like you were just smiling ear to ear. You look so proud. And earlier in the show, you talked about how you feel like you just gave birth.
Right.
Like this is your baby.
Yeah. Well, so first of all, just to preface, I've never given birth, and I probably never will. Right? I mean, I don't. Who knows what science will have in store for us? Anyway. So, emotionally speaking, not physically, of course. So. Yeah, I mean, I can't, I can't really contain my excitement. Just because creating stuff is my passion. It's what I feel like I'm on this planet to do, and it's my passion and my obsession. It's all I want to do, and so anytime I get an opportunity to create something and then to share it, it's the best feeling in the world. But with this particular project, both Changed My Mind and the subsequent EP that it will be on that I'm releasing later this spring. My journey as a musician has sort of been all over the place, but with a couple of sort of key transitional moments for me, I kind of decided, like, okay, in order to make this the way that I want to make it, I have to make it, and so I built a studio in my house.
Wow.
I learned how to produce everything that you hear in this song and also on the album. Produced by me, written by me, recorded by me, engineered by me, everything. So it lives with me, it dies with me. And I don't think a lot of people know this, like, music can be a really expensive pay-to-play industry. Like, even if you write the song and own the initial IP of the song, if you have someone else produce it, they then own it, and in order to buy your song back from them, it costs $6,000, $10,000, sometimes $20,000, depending on the producer is. Wow. So, that I don't want to do that anymore. Right. I didn't, because I have done that with many projects where other people would be producing it, and I wanted to really have autonomy over the stories that I'm telling and the process in which I tell them, and I think I know that's why I'm most excited and most proud of this, because it's all me.
Everything is you. And I was gonna move us to like the interview area, but I want to stay here because that way we have the artwork up the whole time.
Oh, cool.
And we're on the subject and everything. But when we talk to artists, I like to start kind of from the beginning and your journey into music. How long have you been doing music?
Well, yeah. So I mean, pretty much everything that I've done in the music space has been self-taught. I mean, I kind of taught myself how to sing. I taught myself how to play guitar when I was 10. I taught myself the drums when I was 13.
The cantering, at church helps too.
Yes, yes. TBT, good times.
TBT.
I started writing music probably around that age, 13, 14. Wow. Just playing guitars, and I mean, it was a coping mechanism first and foremost. It was just silly things that would happen in middle school that I needed to vent about, and a lot of the songs that I wrote were really, really bad, but I enjoyed writing songs. I enjoyed the process, and I moved out to LA when I was 18, and I worked with a couple songwriters on a few projects, just like independent stuff that I would just sort of be in the room and I would be helping them with. And through that, I met a guy, and we did a project together, sort of a crowd-funded kind of like secret album. And I have a soft spot in my heart for it because it never got released. Like, it only went to the people that helped us make it, because it was just sort of an experiment for us to make the music. And then my most recent project before this was obviously The Girl in the Dreamcatcher, which I think most people know me for in the music space, and that was a big that was a massive learning experience for me. Both just because I had the pleasure of working with some really heavy hitters that are just amazing writers and amazing producers, and so I learned the flow, but also the formula of what that is. And then, when that kind of crashed and burned, it was so heartbreaking,
right.
because that was another sort of artistic baby of mine, and to feel like you're in control of it, and to feel like it's gonna be there for you, and to feel like, you know, okay, this is it, like I've done it, whatever, and then have it disappear, was one of the biggest reasons that I was like, okay, wow, I'm actually really lucky for going through this, because now I know that if I control every piece of it, this will never happen to me again.
Right.
And that's and then, you know, with the theme of just kind of learning stuff on my own, I just taught myself how to produce music.
See, most people would get to the point where it's like crash and burn and they'd give up. And here you are now, sitting here, you've done everything on your own for this song, and I'm assuming the whole EP that's coming up too.
Yep.
So, you know, you moved out here when you're 18, here you are sitting here, the song just released yesterday, the first of many. Like, looking back, like, was there ever a point where you were like, I'm done, I'm gonna pack up my bags, I'm gonna leave, and you're just like, no, I
Thousands.
Really?
Oh my God, yeah. I worked with a woman, Marguerite Derrick. She's a Emmy Award-winning choreographer, fantastic. We worked on the Heathers musical that I did in New York a few years ago, and she's still an amazing friend of mine. But a big mentor to me, you know, because she's been through the ringer. Different artistic medium, but still an artist, right?
Right.
And she always told me that the way that she sort of copes with the ups and downs of this industry is she always gives herself 24 hours after something bad happens to like really feel it, to break stuff, to quit the business, to pack her bags, and then once the 24 hours is up, off you go, you know, no more feeling sorry for yourself. And that's something that I've done a lot, you know.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times my mom's gotten a call where I've been like, I'm done, I mean it this time. And then I call her again the next day and I was like, thanks for letting me do that, and I'm gonna keep at it, obviously, you know. But I don't know, you know, I've known from almost a shockingly young age that this is all that I want to do, and so, you know, the highs are amazing, but the lows are amazing too, because I'm really lucky to have something that I care about that much, that I can get that low, that I can feel that pain for, that I can sort of suffer for and also win for. I don't know, it's an indescribable feeling, and it's a very special kind of love that I have for it.
I can't hear it make me cry, because this has to be such an emotional time for you.
Yeah.
Like, obviously you're, you know, extremely elated that it's out and everything, but like you talk about all the lows and those moments, and now you're here. It's got to be so much pride that you must have right now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. Again, it's really hard to describe. I mean, because it's so many layers deep, and there's so much to it. And so I think pride is a good word. I'm definitely proud, but I'm also very just fortunate, lucky. I don't know, the fact that even on the worst day, even when everything's going terribly, that I have music,
right,
or that I have, you know, acting, or that I have any of the art forms that I've sort of dedicated my life to. Like, I feel very lucky and very blessed and very happy for that. And this is just sort of a reminder of that.
Right.
And that's really like bubbling up and effervescing for me right now.
How did you go about figuring out which song you wanted to release first? Coming out of the gates with this EP, this is the first, you know, why this one?
Well, so honestly, I'm a totally independent artist. So I don't really have anyone that I need to answer to. And so because of that, I sort of said, well, instead of just sort of doing it selfishly and answering to myself, I gave myself someone to answer to, and that was the fans. And so, you know, I released a little video, I did a few Instagram lives, I did a poll on my Twitter. I asked the fans, what do you want to hear next? And I gave them little snippets of a couple songs from the EP of like, what do you want the first single to be? And people overwhelmingly fell in love with Change My Mind, and so that's what I did, you know. And that's a really cool thing too. I mean, I have thoughts about social media that are all over the spectrum, but one of the really cool things about it, especially in my line of work, is that the art that I'm creating ultimately, of course, is for me, but it's also so that I can share it. And the fact that I have direct access to the people that I'm sharing it with, and that we can almost be on this journey very much together, just makes it all the more sweeter.
What was the writing process like for this song in particular?
So I mean, my process always changes. You'll ask me again in a year and I'll have a new answer, but you know, because I've just now learned how to produce stuff, I usually start with the track. I usually start with the music. And once I start feeling a vibe, the words come. Now, it used to be the exact opposite. I would write poems and then I would put I would put music to it. Totally opposite now. And like I said, in a year I'll be writing poems again. You know what I mean? So, so I started with this track, and it has these guitars, but there's this dum bum bum bum, this bass line in it the whole time, and it gets really big in the chorus, but even in the verses it's still there. It's this sort of omnipresent drive, and at first it felt kind of angry, but this isn't an angry song. Even though it maybe seems like it, it's actually a total release, you know, and Change My Mind is a phrase that a lot of people have heard, and so I thought it made a good title, but what I'm really saying is change my mindset. You know, what a big part of me is leaving behind in the narrative of this song is who I was. And the title of the EP, The Opposite, is indicative of that as well. Like I sort of the subject matter of the EP is a really rough breakup that I went through, like it seems everyone's songs are about. And there are 5 songs on the EP, and each song highlights one of the 5 stages of grief. And this one is acceptance. Which is
the final stage, right?
That's right, yeah.
So you go with the final stage first.
You know.
I like it.
Well, another really cool thing about the stages, because I did some research about diving a little bit more deeply into what the stages of grief.
Right.
Well, because, you know, this experience that I went through was one of the most emotionally tumultuous things I've ever been through in my entire life. And I've experienced some losses before, but this was one of the worst. And so I really felt that grieving process, like really felt it. Not like it was just sort of there. Like I could wake up and be like, wow, today it's denial, or wake up and be like, wow, today it's bargaining, or wake up and be like, oh, today it's acceptance. But the thing about the grieving process is it doesn't happen in any specific order, and it repeats over and over and over again until you ultimately land on acceptance for the final time. But that doesn't mean that you aren't going to land on acceptance 100 times before you've actually accepted it. And so I liked sort of releasing this and sort of making that subliminal statement of my emotions don't go in order, and neither do yours. And you know, I think it's a better way to tell a story. You know, stories are almost more interesting if they aren't linear.
Would you say this music is the closest you've ever been to, not the closest you've ever been to your fans, but the most open you've ever been?
Maybe. Yeah, I guess I haven't really thought about it. I feel like I've always been pretty open with my fans. I feel like I've always just sort of been an open guy. You know, I think there's a lot of, I think there's sort of this Hollywood concept that like mystique is sexy and that's what it's all about, and you need to be mysterious and whatever. And you know, maybe that's true. I don't buy it. Like I've always been a pretty open book.
Right. Because it's so easy that when you talk about, you know, the 5 stages and how these songs are a reflection of every single feeling that you felt, it's easy for people to not want to share that and keep that private. But you do the opposite, which is, as a true artist would, you know, share that and turn it into this, which is now an EP, which we can expect this spring, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, logistically speaking, do we have a date that we can talk about, or no?
No, I mean, because of the logistics of it all. So, like I said, I'm totally independent. I do everything on my own. I use a distribution.
So straight to the source.
Yeah, that's right. I use a distribution service, and that service takes time, and it can't tell you what the date is right away. So I have to. I don't know yet, but I know that it'll be coming out in the spring because that's when I want it to come out. So that's when it will.
Well, great. Then you can come back on the show. We'll talk about the whole EP. Well, I'll need like 2 hours for that episode. I'm already 6 minutes over. But thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Ryan's gonna actually stay. We're gonna turn the live off, and we're gonna do. I think we're gonna do 2 songs for us.
Right, yep.
If you want to hang out with us longer, you're more than welcome. You can do the whole EP if you want to. But we're gonna play that next week on the show. So you guys, this is not the last you will be seeing of Ryan McCartan.
No.
And where can everyone follow you on your social medias and all that?
Yeah, on Twitter, it's just my name, Ryan McCartan, MCCARTAN.
On Instagram, you switched it up on us.
On Instagram, it's MCCARYA, which was my login for something else in high school. I don't know why I went with that, but someone stole Ryan McCartan out from under me on Instagram.
You didn't try to get it from him?
I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah.
This was a long time
ago. They
ago.
would have probably tried to like blackmail you. Not blackmail you, but like try to get money for that.
Right,
Extortion.
which I'm not, I wasn't trying to be extorted. And then Facebook, it's Ryan McCartan too.
Perfect. All right. You guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us on After the Bell today. Guest co-host Ryan McCartan, thank you so much. Had a blast with you. You are more than welcome to join us whenever you want.
I'll be back then.
All right, you guys, we will see you next week for all new episodes of After the Bell. See ya.